Can my roadmap double as a release plan? I went to my 4th wedding in 6 weeks. I think I should go to Tibet for a week. That's obviously going to be in frame. Hi, I'm Latif Nanji, co-founder and CEO of Roadmunk, and today I'm going to be answering your questions about road mapping. So the first question is, can your product roadmap also double up as your release roadmap? Well, the answer is probably not. Most of the time, release roadmaps are thought of as tactical engineering plans, and they often have low-level information such as user stories or tasks. And if that's the case, your product roadmap is trying to serve a greater purpose. It's trying to explain why you are going in a certain direction, and you probably have certain strategies you're trying to showcase to the rest of your organization. Also, your product roadmap wants to illustrate longer-term items that may be important for your audience as well as your customers to understand where they're going. So a release roadmap is a bit more technical and granular, whereas your product roadmap is really showcasing the direction of your product and hopefully your organization. Cut it, keep it. Oh, this is a great question. So the second question is, why can't I just use a product backlog without a product roadmap? Well, when an organization is really small, they are actually synonymous. But over time, the roadmap is going to describe the why of what you're building and the customer value, and a little bit of the what. Where a product backlog is going to start to have all of the what and contain a lot of information that the organization may not just understand. And so it's really important that the product roadmap describe that customer value and your product backlog be all of the details of how you're going to complete that vision. I was going to say something like as an organization that's really small, the product backlog often starts out as the roadmap. But as an organization grows, the product roadmap actually is really just talking about why you're building something and its customer value, and a little bit of the what, whereas a product backlog is almost entirely what you are building to accomplish that vision. What did you guys, I want to know what you guys wrote for this one. This is... Question number 3, who owns the product roadmap? The product manager owns the product roadmap, not your executives, engineering, marketing, or your sales reps. You are responsible for making sure that they are bought into your plan and understand the trade-offs you've made so that you can create the most customer and market value. However, just because they are influencing what you are building, that does not mean that you are not responsible for the plan going forward and making sure that you're accountable to fulfilling the vision. I like that. Boom, let's leave that out. That was totally unnecessary. Question number 4, what does a product roadmap look like? Well, that depends on your organization. If you're an organization like Apple, then you've got to align your company to September when they launch products. And so it's more appropriate to use a timeline view that would then help them construct how they're going to get to that end goal. Whereas if you're an organization that's more agile and flexible, then you can use something that's not really time-based. As an example, you could use something like a swim lane view where things come out either in seasons or just in different statuses. It's like, this is how you do it. This is what you got to be doing. Question 5, how often should I update the product roadmap? Well, there are 3 inputs to a product roadmap. The first is feedback. It's really important to make sure all the feedback you get from your customers, your internal stakeholders, or your sales channels are updating all the time into your product roadmaps. And this enables you to get the insights you need to make great decisions and continue evolving your product. The second is progress. It's important that your organization sees how far along the journey you are. So wherever you can, at certain increments, find a way to present that information so that they can understand how the product is progressing. And the third is major changes. This could be the introduction of large-scale initiatives or a change in strategy. And since we know those happen all the time, it's really important to make sure that those decisions are made at specific points. So we see meeting with those stakeholders twice a month, monthly or quarterly, as a common standard to help align your teams to your product roadmap. Oh, we were recording. I see how this works.